been a while since I've been cooking for everyone, and so I wanted to get right back to it. I'm Elysabeth Alfano, and I have a calorie-saving recipe for you right now. It's one of my very favorite things in the universe, an artichoke. Oh my gosh, so hearty, so good for you. Who wants vitamin K? I do. Who wants vitamin C? I do. Who wants fiber and potassium and low calories? That would be me. So just so many wonderful things about artichokes. So I'm gonna do a recipe today that you can do in like 10 minutes. Very hearty, feeds lots of people, and everybody loves it. So, okay, let's get the party started. So before you lovely people arrived in my kitchen, I was boiling up some artichokes right here. So I have a pan of 3, a pot of 3, and I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of all the water right here. So these are no longer hot, but of course you would never just touch them with your fingers, so you really want these guys. And I go and I pull out, oh my gosh, look at these wonderful artichokes. Look at this. Oh my gosh. So I have to tell you, I live near Costco, and I'm very picky when I go to pick my fruit, or my vegetables. It's like I'm picking a gift. You know, when you pick a gift for somebody and you look upside down and you look on the sides and you want to make sure it's not dinged. I really do that with my fruit. Not so much about the dings, because I buy a lot of my fruit and vegetables from imperfect produce. I like them. You know, it doesn't have to be picture perfect, but I want it to seem healthy. So healthy and Costco may or may not go together in your mind. It usually doesn't for me. So I really look at Costco vegetables before I buy them. And I learned this the hard way, because I went to Costco and I bought artichokes, and it was awful. And I thought, okay, I'm giving them one more try. And these artichokes, still kind of wet here. Look at that. Oh my gosh. So these artichokes looked great. So 2 of my artichokes today are from Costco, and 1 is from Imperfect Produce. So like I say, handy dandy tongs, love them. So while I let this kind of drip over here in my sink, I'm going to start the calorie saving recipe. So when I throw dinner parties, and I love to entertain, I like to do it a lot, I like to have artichokes. So first of all, I like to invite people who don't know each other so that they can learn and get together and all these nice things. And then I like to put an artichoke in between 2 people, and it forces them to share that artichoke, which you use, you eat with your fingers, and it forces them to get to know each other. So I make dinner parties a lot. And usually if I'm cooking for other people, I will pull out the extra virgin olive oil. But I'm feeling the age a bit lately, and I'm thinking like, oh gosh, I should shed some weight. So it doesn't matter what decade you're in, I think we all kind of want to shed a little bit of weight. So what I'm going to do today is I'm not going to use extra virgin olive oil, but if you're cooking for friends and you really want to make sure it's just like picture perfect, okay, pull out the extra virgin olive oil. I am going to simmer my onions and garlic in mushroom broth. Okay, so these are my other 2 artichokes. I'm also going to put them aside for now. Put them right over here. All right, folks. Thanks for being with me today, everybody. Okay, so always shake your mushroom broth, because it kind of has sediment at the bottom. So I'm just going to pour in. When I do the recipe for this, I will share all the quantities, but I'm just going to pour in what I need for today. And then, this is such a simple recipe. So when I'm bored, I like to chop. Chopping actually relieves tension and stress for me. So I've already chopped a whole heck of a bunch of onions. Onions just look like this, of course, and then I was chopping away. So I have all of my onions, and they're already fine and diced. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in a lot of onions to my mushroom broth. But of course, if you are doing it, then you would be doing it with extra virgin olive oil. Or if you're like me and you're saying like, oh gosh, I'm gonna have a whole meal out of artichokes, which I can do easily because they're so hearty, then, and you wanna save some calories. I didn't look up the calories of an artichoke right before I started this broadcast, but I know it's super extra reasonable. Okay, so that's working its magic as we speak. the same for you. If you feel like, oh gosh, you are having a stressful day, there's nothing like whipping out the knife and chopping some onions. So I also didn't want to chop the onions right in front of you because I do cry. I can't, stop it. But okay. Oh, and while I'm giving recommendations, how I love my glass container. So we no longer have plastic in the house just because it was too easy, oh gosh, to suddenly microwave something, because you get a little lazy and you say like, okay, well, I'm just gonna microwave it and it's plastic. Oh, well, this once won't matter. And that's just, no, we don't wanna do that. So I love these. They're very handy to have around and you can microwave in them. And like I say, if I want to relieve some stress, I'll chop onions and then I've got onions for the whole week. Although, if you chop too many onions and the onions hang around for too long, they'll dry out. And what's so nice about onions is they have that juice, and that juice is infusing our mushroom broth right now. So, just kind of chop enough in advance for a day. And the same is true with handy dandy garlic. So the simplest recipes here, we've got onions, artichokes, garlic, salt, pepper, and mushroom broth and balsamic vinegar. So really nothing to it. But I know it's very tempting to go to the store and get the big container of already chopped and peeled garlic. I feel your pain, because peeling garlic is a boatload of work, and it's not as relaxing as chopping mushrooms, which is super relaxing, at least for me, or onions, or mushrooms, or celery, or carrots, or peppers. Love to chop peppers. Peeling garlic is not so fun, but you got to do it. I don't recommend those big jars of soaking garlic. So again, to kind of speed things up on our little demo today, I'll see all the garlic. I have 3 artichokes today. I chopped 12 cloves of garlic. So I really like garlic. A lot about recipes is kind of work it to your own taste. So like I said, I did 12 cloves of garlic. I'm not hanging out with anybody tonight, so I can eat lots of garlic. So it just depends. It's up to you what you'd like to do for your own recipe. Now I will give you a little heads up. Simmering with mushroom broth is going to take a lot longer than sauteing with olive oil. Anyway, in go our, ooh, that's lots of garlic. Oh yes. Oh, yes it is. It's lots of garlic. In go our garlic slices. And our mushrooms are coming along. I'm maybe even going to turn up the heat. So nothing quite does it like extra virgin olive oil, but I'll tell you, it is so tasty. It's just as tasty. So now here's the fun part. I always like to salt and pepper as I go. I never like to salt and pepper at the end because then you just over season. So here's an example to have some fun. We have these little shakers that we love. My boyfriend labeled them pepper, salt, just so we don't get confused. Anyway, here we go. Woo, that's maybe too high. Salt. Now I do kind of like being salty. Of course, everybody has to salt to their own taste and benefit, and what your doctor says. If you're watching your sodium, of course, keep it on the down low. But I do like salt. Okay, so now, usually it's extra virgin olive oil and red wine vinegar, but today, oh, red wine vinegar, no it's not, hold on. We're getting balsamic vinegar. Hold on. Here we go, balsamic vinegar. All right, I always like to put things back and clean as I go. That's one of my other favorite cooking tips. Clean as you go. Okay, so balsamic vinegar, again, I'll put all of these quantities in my recipe, which is coming to my website, which is elysabethalfano.com. So you can always go there for the recipe. And I just want to add one more thing that's great about this, what we're doing here today, cooking with artichokes. When I had John Sally on my podcast, so 4-time NBA champion, basketball legend, he's 6'7", it's just crazy, huge man in fantastic shape. When I had him on my podcast, Awesome Vegans, we were talking about protein, where you get your protein, and he was like, stop right now. The real question is, where do you get your fiber? And if you don't know where you get your fiber, that's what you got to figure out. So artichokes have a lot of fiber, 6 or 7 grams of fiber. So that's, of course, wonderful and another big plus for artichokes. So anyways, right now you should all be going to your computer and typing in awesome vegans, subscribe on iTunes. Of course you can do that, or you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Okay, handy dandy tip from John Sally himself. So most of the world measures, but I cook so much that I kind of have a sense for things. So I throw in as much balsamic vinegar as I think will do the trick, but of course for you on my recipe, I will give exact quantities. Yeah, I'm going like this. So balsamic vinegar, I usually don't like. It's very sweet. It's too concentrated for me. The mushroom broth does a great dissemination of that concentration. So it really works out wonderful here. And it gives us kind of a nice, deep, rich color. And saute, saute, saute. Okay, so, or really these are sort of simmering more than anything. Okay, my mushrooms still need a little bit of time, but that's okay, because now we can focus back on our artichoke. By now it's all dried out. You know, you can steam your artichoke, but as you saw, I went ahead and boiled it. Okay, handy dandy artichoke. Now here's another trick about artichokes. So if you're like me, I love the heart of an artichoke. So when you get past that furry part and you get to that plateau, if you will, of just artichoke chunk, which I love, you can tell how much artichoke chunk is going to be in the middle of an artichoke by this. You see how big that circle is right there? That says I'm going to have a big artichoke heart in the middle. So that's wonderful. Okay, so now artichokes can have long stems. I went ahead and I cut this down. I might cut it down again because I wanted to make sure that it would sit up upright for my guests. Okay, I'm just getting rid of a little bit. This is kind of a tight artichoke. The artichoke leaves are very tight, so I'm just getting rid of some of the extra juice. Artichoke juice, okay. So I'm gonna open this up. I'm gonna, hold on here, people. I am going to cut down my stem a little bit because I do want it to sit upright for me and my guests. Yeah, that's good. Okay, now that said, I love even the stems of the artichokes, so I'm not throwing this away. I would never throw anything, I don't throw anything away. That's just crazy talk. So I'm not throwing anything away. I'll probably use it in a salad or something, but I am cutting it off for our purposes here. I may even do a little more. I do just want this kind of to sit nicely for my guests. Ah, that's cute. Okay, so I'm gonna open this up now. Remember how tight that was in the beginning? I showed you guys. Now I'm opening it up just like a flower because I want, oh, I can hear this back here. You gotta kind of be a jack of all trades, you know, paying attention to lots of things all at once. Okay. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Okay. Things are going well. Things are doing great here. Okay, so I open this up like a flower because I'm gonna get ready to pour in and get in between all the leaves my balsamic vinegar with mushroom broth, salt, pepper, garlic, and onions. Now another trick to this is it's really best if you let it sit because all of these juices really need to infuse into the artichoke to give it that extra bit of flavor. So for example, I'm having a dinner party with 2 of my gal pals, shout out Renee and Paige, tomorrow, and I'm basically cooking for them right now. These 3 artichokes are for the 3 of us for tomorrow night. So I will pour all of this in and then I'll, you know, let it cool down to room temperature and then I'll put it in the fridge and with tops on everything and I'll serve them tomorrow. So you don't have to serve it hot. I usually serve mine room temperature. Okay, looking very much like a beautiful flower. Can you see that? Oh my word, can you see that? Yeah. Okay. I mean, there's just nothing to this recipe. It's so gosh darn simple. Okay, where's my handy dandy spoon? Here we go. Yes, yes, I like it, I like it. Okay, very juicy, which is good. Now I'm gonna see where we are, see if it needs anything else. Ooh, it's super hot. I'm gonna hold on because this is just too, oh, you see that? Yeah, okay, I'm just a little bit too hot for me right now. So we'll hold on to this. But I love this because sometimes, like I say, I'll make 5 or 6 artichokes. Let's say I'm having a dinner party for 12. I'll make 6 artichokes, then I'll make everybody share them. And then as they pick apart at the leaves, it's just kind of fun. And then of course I have an extra bowl. People can drop their leaves in there, and then they really get to know their partner, which is kind of fun, or the person they're sitting next to. Okay. Awesome. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Okay. It has a little bit of the bite from the balsamic. Just depends on how you want it. If you want it more umami, more earthy, do more mushroom broth. And if you like to have a little bit of tang, that's what you're getting here with the vinegar. So the tang, I think, works very well for the artichokes. Ooh, it's hot. Okay, hold on. And I've got all the leaves opened up in my flour here. And I'm just kind of spooning things in. I want them to get in and between and around. Hold on, give myself some more room. Yeah, I just want this to all nestle in. By the way, shout out to my mother. This is one of my mother's recipes from when I was a kid. So we would always have artichokes, and it's such a fun food for a kid. That's another thing. It's a finger food, so that's always fun for kids when you have a finger food. So I just have this great memory of artichokes from my childhood, so that's great. Yes, shout out to my mother, who's a wonderful cook. She's she's American, of course, but she's from Irish and Norwegian descent way back, and my father's Sicilian, and my grandparents came over when they were pregnant with my father. So his first language was Italian, and my grandparents never spoke English, and my mother had to learn how to be a great Sicilian chef, and she did that in spades. So my mother's a great cook, and I got all of my cooking tips from her. More than anything, I got the sense not to be afraid in the kitchen. There's no one way of doing things. There's no right or no wrong. Every time she has a recipe, she's like, oh, you just add a little of this, add a little of that. I mean, she never writes anything down. You just got to feel it. Italian, right? You just got to feel it. That's the way to go with cooking. Just got to get in there. In fact, I was thinking today, why don't they teach cooking in school? Nutrition, it's math and science with pictures. And the bonus is you get to eat your homework at the end. I mean, come on. I don't know, we've sort of lost the sense for our food. So I like to get in there with my fingers and, don't be afraid. And my boyfriend always follows a recipe, and he's looking for new recipes that he can learn and follow. And he does learn, which is wonderful. But I like to just open the fridge and say, what am I gonna make that I've never put together before? I like the creativity of it all. Okay, so this guy has a lot going on now. And of course, some of the mushroom and garlic has fallen outside of my flouring artichoke. Doesn't matter, because it's all gonna be good. All gonna be good. I've got lots of extra juice here. I'm gonna go ahead and pour a little of that in. Ooh. Okay, but then I'm gonna save the rest because I have 2 more artichokes to make for tomorrow. You can see, oh my word. Like I said, I'm gonna let this go down to room temperature. And then, see, it's still steaming. Go down to room temperature, and then when it's ready, I'll put it in the fridge, and tomorrow it's gonna taste a lot better than it will right now. It'll taste great, but the juices will not have infused. But I am gonna steal a leaf. Oh yeah, I don't know if you can see this, so it's got onions on it and garlic. Tangy, meaty, flavorful, artichokes, and it's finger food. I mean, how can you go wrong? Oh, and no calories, vitamin K, vitamin C, potassium, and fiber. So, all right. This recipe is shortly going to be on my website, ElysabethAlfano.com. Of course, you should be hitting the subscribe button right now to the Awesome Vegans podcast with me on iTunes, or hit up my YouTube channel if you want to see the video companions to those audio podcasts, and I will be back for more and more recipes. They're always on ElysabethAlfano.com, and it's so great to be here. Peace out, and artichokes. Bye, everybody.